Hello everyone and welcome to 2019. I really hope you had a lovely break. Sometimes when you've had a few tricky ones, you really appreciate the good ones. I had a really good one this time and I was very appreciative of it. I hope you did too. So we're kicking off this year with a really great start. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've been going through a series of laser treatments with a fantastic laser facialist, D.Thomas. Now, I've always been fascinated by laser. I think maybe because I've got quite a few scars on my skin from my years of acne. I always wanted to know whether laser would kind of give me that really kind of like soft, flawless skin. But I've also been quite misinformed about laser, quite confused about laser, and maybe slightly intimidated, if I'm honest. So I met Debbie through work and she said, listen, come in, let's make a film and see how we can improve your skin. Now, we went in and we filmed with Debbie, and I was going to just do one film where Debbie went through all the benefits of laser and what it can do for your skin and why it's worth the investment. And then we were going to do the treatment. But Debbie is so fascinating and the subject is so fascinating that I've split it into two parts. So the video you're going to watch now is me chatting to Debbie in her clinic in Knightsbridge. She talks about her career, why she started down the laser route and why she feels that laser is the way to go forward in getting the best out of your skin and what you can expect, the pitfalls. So even if you're not in this country and you can't go and see Debbie, all this information will really help you make a well-informed decision if lasering is for you. Now, when you see me outside Debbie's clinic, you'll see, well, I can see anyway. A couple of my friends haven't agreed, but I think they're just being my friends. My skin looks dreadful, but you know, as I sit here in the daylight with a very soft light just to pick up the makeup that I'm applying to my skin as I talk to you, my skin, you know, looks pretty and lovely. But I can tell, I've had 3 laser treatments now. The difference in my skin is like going through a 60-degree hot wash. My mum said, your skin was always lovely, darling. She said, but it just looked a bit sort of rough and dull. Oh my gosh, 46 years old. She's never told me that. She's always told me that I look lovely until now. So it's definitely made a difference to the texture of my skin, and you'll see that. I don't want to point out my flaws before I already appear on camera, but you know, when you're in daylight, in flat grey light, that you can't escape anything. You know, your pores, your lines, your pigmentation, it's all out there for the seeing, but you know, that's life, isn't it? Anyway, I will stop talking and I will let you enjoy the film, and I will get Debbie to be very much involved. So any questions that you have, please put them below and I will get Debbie to answer the questions after you've watched the film. Please let me know if you found it helpful, and I look forward to chatting to you very soon. Enjoy! I'm actually very fortunate right now because I'm going to go and meet D.Thomas. We're outside her clinic in Knightsbridge. If I'm really honest with you, I'm actually quite in awe of Debbie because over the years I've read loads of her quotes in magazines, and many of my beauty editor friends have said what an amazing job as she gets at bringing out the quality of everyone's skin. Now, Debbie isn't a sort of classic base facialist. She uses a lot of laser treatments, and I'm fascinated with laser and what it can do, but I don't know anything about it. So let's go and ask Debbie what we can do, certain elements of our skin that drive us crazy, like rosacea, pigmentation. Let's see what she says. I am so privileged to be sat here with D.Thomas. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us and with all the subscribers and people that want to learn about laser. I couldn't be more fortunate enough to be speaking with the best. Now, explain to me, Debbie, how did you start?
Gosh, in skincare 22 years ago, I went straight from school to do beauty therapy, but very quickly started focusing on the face and the skin because I've got acne. I've had acne for 20 odd years, so I'm always managing it myself. So I was always trying to find the next thing that could really help my skin without going too far down the chemical route, the medicines, I suppose, you know, antibiotics and things like that, which again are not cures, they're just ways of treating some of the symptoms, not the cause of the actual acne.
I agree, yeah.
So I was sort of looking for different ways, and I started off doing kind of going down the bespoke facial route, traditional facials, but using kind of lots of combination of things and creating these new ways of sort of treating the skin out of existing stuff. And then one day I found a laser, and it was literally the most exciting thing that had ever happened to me. And I literally was just like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do with my hands and my creams and even some of the old beauty machines what this has just done in 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, this is something that needs exploring. And it was quite strange actually, because at that point I'd sort of become known as a facialist, and I just started getting some press, and people were sort of like, oh, you know, interested in working with me and things. And I kind of walked away from it all and went to Harley Street and started as a junior, where kind of no one knew me, and like right at the bottom, so that I could learn the aesthetic trade, the lasers and stuff.
And how long ago was that?
Gosh, it's 15, 16 years ago, I suppose. And the reason I did that is because I knew this was where skincare was going to go. I just immediately, as soon as I understood what the laser could do, because I'd heard of laser hair removal. I think, you know, if you go back 20 years ago, laser hair removal wasn't common, but it was around and people sort of knew about it. But the skin treatments, hardly anyone was doing them to a great extent. You know, people would use them to zap a bit of pigment or to zap a few veins, or, you know, there was a few things out there, but it wasn't lasers weren't utilised as well as they are now.
I think people were often scared of burning.
Yeah, I mean, with lasers, there are always risks. All lasers use heat to trigger a reaction within the skin. We're trying to stimulate something to happen. So whether that's breaking down pigmentation, whether that's cauterizing a vein in the nose so that you get rid of those little broken capillaries, or we're trying to stimulate collagen, or even killing bacteria or shrinking the sebaceous glands for acne. All of these things in slightly different ways are induced by heat being introduced into the skin through light. That's what laser is. It's just a light, condensed light. If the treatment is not done correctly, then there is always a risk of some kind of after effect, like a burn. The risk of something like that happening does go up if you're not very honest with your practitioner.
Right.
So, for instance, if you go on any medication, if you're going into the sun, those kind of things. So you'll nearly always get asked this big long list of questions. You had to fill out your form the other time, which is quite overwhelming. It's like all these medical questions, all this stuff, and you kind of think, whoa, what am I letting myself in for? But it's to make sure that we do the safest treatment for you. And by analysing all of your answers, we're able to go, okay, actually, you're perfectly safe to have this, this and this, and we kind of know that. But if something changes in between the sessions, let's say you have to take antibiotics for an infection or something like that, and you don't inform us, your skin can be made more sensitive to light, which means you're more likely to have a reaction to the laser. So it's always about communication. I just say to my clients, tell me everything, you know. Whenever you come in, talk to me, tell me what you've been up to, let me know about any medication, even any big lifestyle changes. Sometimes you become more or less sensitive when you go on like a detox diet and things like that. So what that means is that I then become aware of your skin. I'm thinking, okay, even though you've had 3 treatments with me before, now you're on this like really, really, you know, strict detox diet, your body might react a little bit differently. So I'm automatically watching even closer just to make sure that I'm happy with how everything's going. So is there a risk of burning? There is, but it's tiny unless there is a real sort of something like the medication, or if the person maybe isn't as experienced as they could be using the machine.
It's also a good point, because if you do go and have a consultation elsewhere and maybe they don't ask you enough questions, maybe that should raise alarm bells.
Yeah, I mean, I like to really get to the bottom of everything when I'm talking to someone, because for me, to be able to give you the best treatment that's suitable for not just for your skin, but for your lifestyle, for anything, you know, I want to know everything about you. You know, I want to know your lifestyle choices, including your diet, sort of exercise, work habits, stress levels, medications, medical history. All of those things start to give me a clear picture of how your body may or may not react, how your skin will heal, because every time we use the laser, we are actually inducing a small amount of injury to the skin, and when that injury heals, that's when you make all your collagen and elastin. So it's it's a good thing to happen.
Yeah.
But if someone has got a particular lifestyle, lots of smoking, very, very stressed, not sleeping very much, all of those things, they are going to react, they're not going to get as good a result.
Because you've got the healing time.
Because they aren't going to be healing as well, they're not going to be repairing as well. So I can then discuss that with them and say, look, it's not going to cause anything bad to happen to you, but I don't feel like you're going to get the best results unless we can do X, Y, Z. Consider obviously giving up smoking or reducing it, using an antioxidant daily to start strengthening up your skin, use a retinol on a regular basis, again, to start repairing the DNA damage in the skin, and then come back to me, and then I can start working on your skin, and we'll have a little bit more likelihood of getting a much better result.
And that's actually what I found about you, is that when I came in for my first initial consultation, was the fact that you really take everyone on an individual basis. And I have been so confused about laser and what laser would work and what I should be using for the different types of my body and different types of concerns. Is it all became so confusing that I just thought, I can't be bothered, I'll just live with it and try stronger retinols or other products. But of course, there's only so far that skincare can go, like you said. And that's what I want to sort of say to the subscribers, is that you really need to go and have someone like Debbie to just sit down and kind of analyse your skin and your lifestyle to make sure that you can get the right laser for your issue. And that way you'll get the best results. And maybe it's not what you initially thought it was, but we don't actually know. You have to go to the experts in order to get the perfect analysis.
Well, this is the first thing that I did when I decided to start my own business, which was just over 9 years ago. I actually started on my own, and it was a realization that people were coming even into Harley Street into a clinic and basically looking at a menu and going, I want the pigmentation laser, and then someone would laser their pigmentation.
That's what I thought would happen,
Or they would go into, even if it was the more traditional facials, they're going in and they're looking at a thing going, oh, I want the moisturising facial, or I want this. And it's like, it would be like me going into a dentist and going, today I fancy a root canal,
Right, so is that different then?
So I want the dentist to tell me what I need.
Yes.
I don't want to go in and tell the dentist. And I think that when you are looking at your skin, the health of your skin, and especially if you have slightly more problematic issues with your skin as well, what you want is someone experienced and with knowledge to actually be able to say to you,
yes, exactly,
this, that, and that. And the other thing as well is that, through habit, being human beings as we are, there are a lot of practitioners out there, all the way from, traditional beauty therapists doing, as I say, the more traditional hands-on facials, all the way up to doctors doing even more advanced things than I offer, who kind of have this thing of slightly over-promising what they can do for someone, because we all like to talk about the best case scenario. And what I like to do with my clients is very much give them an honest appraisal of what is possible. Like sometimes I have someone come into me who their ideal is to get lifting. We all want more lifting, and we all, that's one of the things.
It's actually one of the questions that came up a lot. Can my jowls be lifted? Which I'd never even knew that laser was able to do that, but that's come up quite a lot.
What lasers can do is they can tighten your skin, or they can help to stimulate more collagen in your skin. But the reason that your jowls are dropping is not just because of your skin quality or how much collagen is in your skin. It's about the underlying structure of your face, which includes your bones, your muscles, and your subcutaneous fat. As we get older, we naturally lose bone density. Your bones shrink. That's why older people tend to be smooth. They do actually shrink. It's something that's happening. In the face, we subcutaneous fat, you lose that. You obviously lose that volume underneath, and also muscles. If we're not using certain muscles, or we're overusing some muscles and underusing others, then that in itself can cause the underlying structure to change slightly. And I always say, you know, I can make your skin really healthy, I can make it plump, I can make it strong. You know, when everyone says you do that test, if it springs back, you know, you can have someone that's got incredibly firm skin, but they're still sagging. And the reason for that is it's the underlying structure of the skin. It's like getting a beautiful suit and hanging it on a peg rather than on a nice coat hanger.
And are you saying that way that lasers can actually rebuild the structure underneath?
No. Right. Lasers can't. That's where your injectable treatments come in.
Okay.
So that would be filler.
Right. Okay.
Because you need to rebuild that. So when people come into me and they say they want lifting, it's like, it's quite strange. Some people you do the treatment on and you do get an incredible amount of lifting, and it's because underneath they've already got a structure there, and all I'm doing is strengthening their skin, and it responds really well. Other people will come in and I'll do the same treatment. They'll be sort of, let's say they're almost like doppelgangers, you know, the similar lifestyle, age, concerns, all of this sort of thing. So you sort of think, ooh, that last person I did had an amazing result. This is going to be great because this person is so similar. They're going to have a great result as well. And I'll do the same thing and they get half the result. And I'm like, you know, why? And it's genetics. You know, we all genetically respond differently to all of these different treatments. What the second person gets is not so much lifting, but their skin becomes stronger, healthier, more luminous. It plumps. You can see it looks more youthful in terms of it's glowing and fresh, but they don't get that lifting. And so when people come into me, you know, I never promise, you know, to get lots of lifting or to erase pores or to cure acne or any of these things. What I'm giving them is an opportunity to improve the overall health of their skin and to maintain it moving forward. And that for me is something that a lot of places still haven't keyed onto, that lasers are incredible for. I mean, I'm going to be 40 next year, and I've been having lasers since for pretty much 16 years, and I have the lasers mainly, not so much now, I'm starting to move into the anti-aging stuff, but for my acne. But even having acne treatments on a regular basis, the lasers sort of residual effect is to stimulate collagen, elastin, and to promote better circulation.
Your skin looks incredibly firm, I have to say.
So that is something that we as a clinic here really promote, that yes, we're going to help you with the visible issues that you have, like your pigmentation or your redness, and help you to get your acne and your rosacea under control and all of those kind of things. But really my aim is to have you as a long-term client that I can help to keep your skin in great condition for as long as possible. Because healthy skin, the only difference between a 20-year-old skin and a 40-year-old skin is how healthy it is, how quickly it repairs and regenerates. And the lasers can stimulate your skin so it continues to repair and regenerate at a much, much more desirable level.
Okay. Can we just talk about your bespoke aspect again? Because you don't just have one machine that treats everyone. You have 7 or 8 machines, did you say?
Yeah, I've got 7 lasers, and then I've got an additional probably 5 different other types of skin machines.
Because they're not cheap, are they?
No, they are quite expensive, but you know, every one of them for me is an investment. Not only does it mean I get to do more treatments on more sort of complicated skins, and it means I can treat a wider variety of skin issues and skin colours and everything like that.
So pigmentation and melasma, obviously slightly different issues. Can they be completely treated with laser?
So this is an area that a lot of people get very confused on. Skin types 1 to 3, which are your paler skins. So I'm probably the higher end of the skin type 3. You're going to be a skin type 2, I would say. You can do some quite good treatments that are reasonably, I suppose strong is the thing. I don't want to sort of make it sound too scary, but we can be a little bit more aggressive with our skin colours, which means you can normally get quite quick results with normal sun damage induced pigmentation. So those are the kind of the brown spots, the splodges, and sort of extra freckling and things like that. And normally 1 to 2 sessions would reduce it by anything from 50 to 90%, I would say. So you're not looking at 100%, But the key to pigmentation is that the area where the pigmentation is, there has been damage done to the cells on a DNA level. That's why you have the pigmentation there. I can remove the pigmentation that's currently sitting in your skin. What I can't do is repair that DNA damage. Because if you remember back to your days of being in the biology class where they show you sort of the cells splitting, and that's how we regenerate and everything. The DNA damage has been done to that cell. Every time that cell splits, it takes that DNA damage with it, replicates it. So every time you go back in the sun for an extended time,
it will come back.
That area will always be a little bit more reactive than the rest of your skin. So once the damage is there, it is a permanent damage, but we can certainly get it under control. Some of my clients that have pigmentation, they come once a year and just have it treated, and that pretty much keeps them at a good level for quite a long time. Melasma is a very, very different and difficult thing to treat, because melasma is only probably 50% pigmentation. The other 50% of it is actually a inflammatory response deep within the skin. It's actually vascular, so it's related to veins and blood flow and things like that. That's why a lot of people get it during pregnancy, because there's so much more blood in the body, and it stimulates certain areas. And because you've got so much blood pumping to the skin, it means the skin's really hyper sensitive, and when you go into the sun, that's when you're more likely to get damaged, just because you already have that activity going on. And for most people, once the inflammation goes, the pigmentation disappears. However, for some people, there was so much activity there and damage there that area becomes sort of permanently hyperactive, and you could laser the pigmentation off, but the treatments that we would use to treat pigmentation would actually really, really aggravate and stimulate the inflammatory response. So your pigmentation would disappear, you'd be like, oh my God, this is amazing, and then about 3 or 4 weeks later it would probably come back even worse. So this is where you have to go somewhere where they are really, really experienced in dealing with different things. And when I say experienced, you don't really want to see someone that maybe hasn't been working with laser for at least 3 years.
That's good advice.
But for me, 5 years plus is when you start to get into someone that's really seen it all, understands it.
And all the case studies, really, to see what's the effects of what you're doing to different people, and that's your learning, isn't it?
It's the understanding of what happens when a laser light goes into the skin, and what that means. Because, for a lot of people, they will be thinking, oh, you've got pigmentation, I want to zap the pigmentation. But if you don't understand what's behind the pigmentation, then you do run the risk of obviously stimulating and aggravating it. And then that brings us up into the darker skin types, so our skin types 4, 5 and 6.
That was a question from a lot of my subscribers. If I have darker skin and I've got pigmentation or more melasma, will it help, or will it give it further scarring on my skin?
Well, it is an area that becomes much more difficult to treat. There are not many lasers that you should be using on your skin. The Q-switched lasers are quite good for melasma and things, and that's actually a laser that was previously used for tattoo removal, but we can use it on a much more gentle setting. We use a laser called the dual yellow laser, which is there's only about 5 of them in Europe.
So 5 in Europe, and you have one here?
Yes, it's a very, very bespoke laser, but it allows.
And is that because of your experience that you own that, or?
Yeah, it's through trying to find solutions to problems that I was seeing a lot. I mean, the one thing I love about being in London is I get to see every skin type and every skin colour and things like that, which means that I'm constantly faced with people that have conditions that maybe I haven't ever treated before or seen before, and I go away and I do a lot of research.
Motivated.
Absolutely, because some of these people come in and they've tried everything, and I'm looking at them and I'm just going, I really want to help you. And it's like, what can I do? So I do a lot of research to try and find out what's out there, what are the options. And sometimes I come back with nothing. It's like, the stuff that you've tried, that's all there is, and if you're not responding to it, let's maybe move away from trying to specifically treat that and improve your overall skin. Because if your skin overall looks good, sometimes these imperfections don't look as bad anyway. But at least I can feed back to them that they have done the best that they can do, and there aren't anything any other options out there.
Would you treat someone with active acne? Does that help?
Yes, I do treat people with active acne. Again, I'm not treating the acne itself, I'm treating the symptoms of acne, which is the lesions that we see on the skin. We can do treatments which help with the healing response, so anti-inflammatory, so to calm down redness, to temporarily sort of shrink the sebaceous glands so they produce less oil.
That's fascinating. So you've got a really, really oily complexion. Lasers can actually take away or limit the amount of oil that's secreted.
Yeah, it can just help to reduce that down and to balance things. Some of the lasers, they create a sort of more of a chemical reaction within the skin which stimulates porphyrin production, and porphyrins destroy bacteria. So when I'm again dealing with acne, I will do a treatment on someone that within 2 sessions they might get a 50% reduction.
That's a lot though.
But then someone else might come and I might have to do 6 treatments before I get the same reduction. So everyone responds. It is a process. But the main thing that I try and do with clients that have ongoing skin conditions like acne and rosacea and that, which are, they can be lifelong.
If you have acne, if you have active rosacea or acne, isn't it incredibly painful to have the laser on your skin?
No, because different lasers feel different things.
Okay.
The lasers themselves, some of them feel more uncomfortable and some of them are actually nowadays very, very tolerable. You might feel a bit of tingling, a little bit of a prickly sensation, but it's not as, back in the day when I first started, every laser literally felt like someone was, they say flicking you with an elastic band. It was like, that was one big elastic band, is all I can say.
Right.
That has massively reduced now, and the lasers are much more comfortable. But yes, they're not, this isn't a spa facial, No. During the treatment you do get moments where the laser will hit specific nerve ending, or especially around the nose and the mouth area. I always say when I'm doing anything around the nose that your eyes are going to water a little bit. It's not that it's painful, it's just kind of like quite
no pain, no gain.
And it's like
plucking your eyebrows can be annoying though sometimes.
It's that sensation when you pluck a hair out and you get that momentary second where it really, you kind of go, oh, and then it sort of disappears, but in that second your eye sort of starts watering a little bit. Lasers are a bit like that, you get that momentary kind of, and then it sort of dissipates quite quickly. So anything with active acne, or someone that has got really, really bad breakout of rosacea or something like that, we obviously dial it down. We are going to be looking at the skin. We're going to be doing more of the healing, repairing, calming laser rather than the stronger sort of active laser where we're trying to do stuff. Because once we've calmed it down a little bit, then we can come in with a different type of treatment to try and actually then reduce further breakouts as much as possible. So everything that we do, from microdermabrasion to the peels to every laser that we have, they all have settings that we can change. We can make them more powerful, less powerful.
But you've definitely seen a benefit. If someone's really struggling, it would be something that they should look into to help them.
If they've tried other options, absolutely. The thing that a lot of people sort of, I suppose, ask about things like acne and rosacea is, what's the cure? And unfortunately there is no cure. Roaccutane is not a cure. Antibiotics are not a cure. These lasers are not a cure. They're a way to help to manage the condition long term. So I think as long as people sort of understand it's a long term process. We do quite a few a little bit closer together to get your skin into a certain position, and then you come, some people come in every 3 months and have a one-off session. So to kind of have in your mind one treatment every 3 months would probably be the ongoing sort of thing for most people. But I suppose for many people, cost does come into it.
Is there a set cost, Debbie, or again is it not one size fits all? So give me, if I was coming in for maybe just the pigmentation of my face, starting price would be?
If it's just treating the individual pigment spots and not doing anything else, I would probably say it's about 150 for a treatment.
Okay, so targeted areas are more affordable. If you want to have the whole kind of tone of your skin really boosted, then obviously you're going into
our combined DNA treatments, which is our bespoke approach. So we have people come in, they just want the veins around their nose done, and I think that's about £120 or something.
Great.
Whereas if someone,
I would expect it to be that price, really.
Yeah. Whereas if someone comes in for our DNA treatment, which most of them tend to be an hour long for the face.
Your DNA treatment is the bespoke D.Thomas approach to make the best out of your skin. So if you want to make the best out of your skin with her knowledge, then that's what you need to be booking in for.
Yeah, and what I've done is I've split the DNA levels into 3. We have a level 1, which is non-laser. So it just combines advanced skin treatments like the microdermabrasion, peels, red and blue light therapy. We do extractions here, lymphatic drainage, a little bit of ultrasound, a little bit of radio frequency. So a very comprehensive treatment, but there's no lasers involved. And an hour of that is approximately 200, I would say. Then for the level 2, which is our most popular, that's including all the stuff I've just mentioned, plus a variety of lasers, so whatever your skin needs. Perfect for people that do suffer from the acne, rosacea, general age management.
On that age management note, 2 questions. My issue is my top lip. I hate my top lip, it's so bumpy. Can laser smooth it out? I don't want to have any filler in my top lip. And also, like craggy chest, when you wake up in the morning, it's like I've got sort of like a map on my chest of when I also had acne 15 years, I was just told to go burn my skin.
Yeah.
Can lasers smooth that out and smooth out the top lip? Is that possible?
It is possible, but it is the next level up. This is then you're looking at
typical.
You're looking at
typical.
what we call our level 3 treatment, but that includes ablative lasers, which are things like your Fraxels,
that's
and
Fraxel,
Pixels, and things like that you might have heard of. So that's the laser that actually physically removes part of the skin, so in layers.
So that would be a lot of downtime, a lot of redness.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time now, the type of ablative treatments that I would do, my clients will be red probably for 2 to 3 days, and it's not scary red. It's like you have got sunburn sort of red, so you're not going to be scaring people, but you wouldn't want to go to a red carpet event basically. And then you get another probably 2 to 4 days of flaking skin, so you just slather on some post-recovery cream and
I used to have loads of peels when I had acne too. This lovely lady looked after me then, and I used to tell everyone, I've just got this new allergy to strawberries. I don't know what's wrong with my face. I've just got red skin from strawberries. And some way that I could go out and face the day because it was just an allergy to strawberries. Nothing to do with anything I was having with my skin. It's funny. It reminds me of that story.
It is. Do you know what though? So many people are still find this area a little bit taboo in a way, and they sort of feel a bit, people sort of come in here and they're like, well, I'm not telling any of my friends I'm here. And I'm like, why not? I tell everyone everything because I want other people to know that these things are available. And
hence why we're here.
I know I'm in the industry, but whatever I do, wherever I go, whether it's having these kind of treatments done or, finding an amazing, manicurist or whatever it is, I want everyone to know about it because I like to share and
exactly.
stuff. Yeah. But I do think that there is still a lot of taboo around this, and a lot of people sort of feel like it's a bit, I don't know if it's overindulgent or if people are going to think they're a bit crazy because they're having laser done. Or
that's really interesting you say that, because in Knightsbridge it's a whole different demographic of women. Like when I come here, I'm just like, wow, this is not like Streatham at all. I can tell you that. So I would think for the clients that you're working with that you would be very used to that sort of, if you want to call it overindulgence, I don't know, insecurity. It's many ways, isn't it? Making the best of yourself in whatever way you feel fit. That we all see ourselves in different ways, don't we? But it's British culture, I think, that we just like to say, don't worry about it, and that's fine, and I don't want to do that. But I think we're getting better at loving ourselves more, or giving ourselves a bit of time and wanting to be great. I mean, I'm 45. I don't want to be shut in the house and never come out again. I still feel as I did when I was 20, as everyone else does. So it's finding these little tips and tricks that can, continue for you to feel great about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We do have. We have quite a few clients that are from this area, but we have clients that travel to us from all over the UK on a
Really?
regular basis and all over London. So I think people are out there, people are aware of it, and they are looking for people that have good reputations.
I
and
just
things.
think when you're dealing with lasers, you have to. I'd be nervous.
No, I mean, I have absolutely 150% had people come in to have these treatments done, and when they walk through the door, not a single person on the planet, I think, would even guess that they would even want to have these kind of treatments done. You know, they just don't look like that sort of person. But what does that sort of person look like? You know, we have this preconceived idea of, and I'm like, well, you want to have laser done? And it's like, of course you do, you know, because we're all the same, regardless of, you know, how much makeup we wear, or whether we're wearing designer clothes or not, or whatever it is, or going to the gym, you know, 5 times a week. And that, at the end of the day, you know, we all want to be the best version of ourselves for as long as possible. And I think that's what I try and promote here, is that we, you know, I'm not going to give anyone, you know, a supermodel's skin or face, but I can give you your best skin, and that's really the core of what I do.